Hello everyone, and welcome to week 3 of state and local government. I just wanted to start this week by going over the announcement that I started called Monday Maintenance. And I just want to address things and themes that were developed over the previous week. So I went ahead and put those into announcements this week. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I get these out to you first thing. And you'll see right here in the under announcements, Monday Maintenance. I'm just basically going to talk about different things that recap last week and things that we can build on going forward. So start looking for that each Monday morning. So let's get started. We'll get into week 3 here. And week 3 is the California Executive Office and the legislature, the truth behind redistribution and redistricting. So basically right here I kind of gave you a quick little bio of our governor here, Governor Brown. So moving into the actual activities themselves. Let's go ahead and let this thing load. Okay, first off, just the late policy. Once again, I just have it up there just to remind everybody each week of the importance to get your assignments in on time and to make sure that they are complete in nature. So moving on to representation, that's what we're talking about this week. And just a little quote that I found, I kind of a late insertion here was, "Taxation without representation is tyranny," by James Otis. And I think that's what it seems like. We're just getting pounded on taxes as far as being a California resident. So also too, our biblical theme is going to be who is to condemned. Christ is the one who died. More than that, who was raised, who is at the right hand of God, who indeed is interceding for us. And basically is what we're looking at here is that the pledges that Christ has given us of his love did not end, but only began with his death. And for that being said, we have to look at, God, or Christ, Jesus, gave of himself not to condemn those, but to save those that did this to him. So, and as part of him who intercedes in between for us, he just wants us to be aware of, when we're looking at government and representation and all that good stuff, is to just realize that, don't be quick to condemn those that may inflict harm or pain upon you. It's just to, to remember that there's a situation that they may be in that they lashed out for you for whatever reason. But just going forward, just keep an open mind and just reflect on where you are and take the higher road. So moving on, we're going to go with just another short motivational video for you. And I just want you to look at this video as just kind of jump-starting this week. I actually had to watch it twice last week for myself to get through a couple of things. But anyway, it's a good video. It's clear and very poignant in what the message is for making it through it. Weekly agenda this week is basically going to consider the two most visible components of state government, the legislatures and governors. And then most everyone, can name who your governor is. But there's still an underline of who are the people that, support that governor. You have your representatives in your state legislature. So going forward, we're basically going to you're going to read your chapters 7 and 8 from Smith. And because this book is the heavier weighted book in that, there's more to read, there's more stuff to really pull from it. I want you to really look at chapter 7 and page 232 and talk about states under stress. And it's just a quick little excerpt on 5 reasons why state house speakers may be prone to corruption. And so when you look at this, you're going to you should get a better understanding of just what's going on and how they can kind of fall into that role and misrepresent us, as they, gain in power and move forward and looking at their own interests. And then as well as you're going to get into your, let me go back to the notes here for chapter 7 and for chapter 8. Let me get these loaded up here real quick. And so chapter 7 for the Smith book is going to be basically talking about how legislatures tend to serve a common purpose and perform a set core of functions, although legislative Legislative organization activities generally reflect the existing political culture of a state. While lawmaking and oversight consume a significant amount of time and resources, constituent representation is the primary responsibility of state legislatures. Elected officials and their staffs spend the vast majority of their time answering constituent requests through casework and other forms of constituent service. The structure of the composition of state legislatures have changed dramatically in the last 40 years. The rise of professionalized legislatures has significantly increased the power of legislatures and the authority of individual legislatures. It has also resulted in a significant increase in career-oriented legislatures. The contributions to variation in legislative composition and organization as the degree of professionalization has increased. However, public approval of legislative activity has decreased. Thus, despite improving efficiency and effectiveness, state legislatures remain unpopular with the American people. And for this reason, states with highly professionalized legislatures also tend to have term limits in place for incumbents. These states often provide for direct citizen influence in the form of ballot initiatives and referendums as well. And if you go back just to tying in what the corruption portion is and how easy it is for these professional legislatures to fall into, to jeopardize their ethics and what they're there for, you can see how these two tie together. And then moving on to Chapter 8, I'm going to talk about a detailed discussion of the role of governors in the legislative process and the variation of the gubernatorial powers among states. Governors serve important political and legislative roles, and each act as a chief legislature, a party chief, and a chief spokesperson for his or her state. They must be able to interact with a variety of administrative agencies at multiple levels of government. Increasingly, they are focused or forced to interact with the media and promote social and economic development within their states. And this reflects the expansion of formal gubernatorial powers and responsibilities. Budgetary appointment and veto powers are also represent formal mechanisms available for them to manage particular legislative agendas. And then beyond their formal powers, governors also rely on a distinct set of informal powers to pursue legislative goals. Such informal powers often determine whether a state will have a strong or weak governor. Governors must be able to effectively communicate with a wide variety of political actors. They must be able to build a broad coalition and weary party support. Ultimately, this determines the extent to which they are able to achieve their legislative goals. More and more governors are using their positions as stepping stones to higher office. I think you can see that in the governor, the move from mayors to governors, and Villaraigosa here from LA. For example, 4 of at least 5 presidents served as governor prior to taking the presidential oath of office. Thus, a state governor remains an important indicator of a state's well-being as well as for providing cues to the direction of national policy. And we talk about California governors that have moved from the governor's office to the president, and one of those would be Ronald Reagan. So that is kind of your summary for Chapter 7 and Chapter 8. And then as far as the actual Vectin book, it's the chapters there. Chapter 2 that you're going to be covering it talks about the history and the beginning of progressivism. And then Chapter 3, you're going to get into the landmark initiatives. Look at the cost of campaigns in there. I don't have the page number here, but the actual cost, and see what the different campaigns that you're familiar with or that you've heard of, and look at what it costs to actually push that through. And then Chapter 5, you're going to have the executive branch, talking about the California executive and the positions with their salaries. And you can see how it says it's kind of like a moving chairs, to put it bluntly, as far as how people move around and what their role is and how they're tied together. You can see the little model that they have in there. So then you have your PowerPoints, and there are state legislatures, and then you also have your governors and executives, and they're narrated PowerPoints. And then the middle one here will actually just begin once you click on it. These are narrated by Dr. Kircher, who does a great job on that. Then you're going to get into your assignments this week. a critical thinking multimedia assignment, you need to create a voice thread. And when you do that voice thread, you need to basically have these questions prepared. Just, have the answers to these questions prepared so that you can go ahead and cite them once you begin your actual voice thread. And Dr. Alexander here actually has an example of what it sounds like and what it looks like and how to create it. As well as there's a couple other little links here that'll show you how to embed it as well as create one. And then your week 3 application exercise, once again, just go ahead and click on the hot link here, and then you're going to move forward and answer the different questions. What are the 2 missions, parameters, and thought? Now, when you answer these, I need you to answer these in a paragraph form, and you need to expand on them more than just 1 or 2 sentences. That these questions really qualify for more than just that. So, and getting here to your quiz, you're going to see that you actually have the quiz is true, false, and there's just one essay question to it. And basically, it's just an 8-question quiz. It's really down and dirty, and it's simple, so it shouldn't take you very long at all to get through. And then we're talking about representation and government, so I just wanted you to take a look at this quick TED Talk here from Charity and regarding how to fix a government. So it's really it'll give you a good understanding of what's going on out there in the big bad world and how things are being corrected. So other than that, I hope everybody had a great weekend and time with family and friends. So going forward, this is going to be a hot, long weekend. I think we're anticipating an increase in humidity as well. So just remember to stay hydrated and stay focused. And if you have any questions, remember that I'm here for your success. So please contact me at your convenience. Thank you.